There is little question that the world's transportation systems deserve a fundamental rethinking. And many communities are already benefiting from the first steps of transformation. This momentum is crucial because the survival of our civilization depends on it.
There are a lot of major car companies who are thinking, where are we going to be in 10 years? And what is our company, what is our brand about? Is it about the physical car, or is it about transportation?
Well, I think if you care about the long-term health of a company or the industry, both, you have to be a disruptor. So when I joined the company, it became very clear to me early on that our approach on the environment just wasn't going to work, and that we needed to drive massive change if we were going to continue to attract the best and the brightest young people to want to work there. But as I say, if you're worried about the long term, as I've always been, then it really requires you to not only embrace change, but frankly go seek it.
Some of the most important innovations of our time are the innovations in how we work and think together, because you can't top-down direct this kind of change. But we need to get better at finding the directionality and thinking in terms of the systems, technology. We need to address behavior, we need to address infrastructure, we need to do all of these things basically at the same time.
New ideas are never born with majority support, but they have to be born and proposed. And that's first, I love what Gandhi once said, at first they ignore you, then they mock you, after that they attack you, and then you win. So it takes time, but in the same way it was ridiculous to propose that women should vote 100 years ago. So first I think we have to be conscious of the problem, because again, as I say, sometimes we have these realities that are in front of our nose and we do not even see how horrible it is what we have today.
When it comes to commuting, the Gen Z solution to that is by just completely eliminating the ownership component and instead embracing the component of a shared economy, of sharing existing resources with people.
So really what we want to achieve is optimized usage of materials and energy throughout the whole mobility system.
We have to do this iterative, adaptive maneuver where we try bit by bit. So we start with understanding the street and researching it and measuring it. We start then introducing, let's say, some bike sharing hubs or scooter sharing hub in some way. We start putting some planter boxes in. We start putting some street amenities, places to sit back in. We start pulling trees back towards it bit by bit. We start borrowing back bits of parking and using them for something else, whether that's cafe, table tennis court, or a meetup place. And over that kind of series of maneuvers, we're then able to introduce, well, what if we also try an autonomous shuttle drop-off point here, for instance. During that time, we can bring people with us on that journey, because it's going to be a slow process, so we can have a conversation about it. We do it bit by bit. And it enables you to start tomorrow. It's not saying we now need to go into a 10-year building program. It's something you could start literally tomorrow in most streets around us.
One analogy, which isn't perfect but is used occasionally, is the analogy of Kennedy saying we need to put a man on the moon and bring him back within our generation. And that was kind of goal that everybody could understand. Can we now do a similar thing for societal transformation? To actually formulate and address common, really ambitious, clear goals, where we look at the systems then and see how can we all work towards that.
I want to dream a city for citizens. The best solution for me is to rethink the city based in superblocks, because we include inside of this idea the peaceful of the little village inside of the big cities. And at the same time, you assure the functionality and mobility and organization of the city. If you can make this, you will have the best city that you can dream. In our case, I think in 15, 20 years, we will have the 500 superblocks that we want. 500 superblocks implemented in Barcelona will suppose to liberate 7 million of square meters without demolish any building. What is the most important inside of the cities? People. At the end, we want to develop a city for citizens, not for cars.
The ways we move reveal a lot about ourselves. And the current crisis is an opportunity to see our society and its values more clearly. So how do we want to move? And what future do we want to build together? Already, thousands of communities, innovators, and urban leaders are answering these questions with meaningful interventions. And a new generation is demanding and taking action. Let's join them in rethinking what roles we want our mobility systems to play. Start by taking a walk, not as a last resort, but as a first step in exploring where it is we want to go and what we might discover along the way. Together, let's experiment and learn how true freedom of movement can transform the spaces we share, the lives we live, and the world we inhabit. Let's rediscover what it means to move.
I touch the earth whenever the ground, my football makes no sound. Light the flame, light the fire, keys in my hand, ready to burn it down. I ride the fire, ride the flame, move so fast I have no name. Can't slow me down, wind in my hair, ready to run, 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 run. I touch the earth, but never the ground, my football makes no sound. Light the flame, light the fire, keys in my hand, ready to burn, burn.